I've got YouTube up on both of them. There we go.
Yep, we're live on both.
Welcome back to the Dynasty Heat Seekers podcast. I'm your host, Rick Butts, here with Brad Menendez, my co-host. I got to turn sound off on other devices here. Um, Today we have something special. We are going to live stream a 12-person rookie mock draft. We're actually going to do two. The first one is going to be one QB. The second one is going to be a SuperFlex mock. Just let us know if you can hear us out there. We'll make sure the sound is good before we get going. The mock draft starts here in 3 minutes. Uh, but we'll make sure my video's resizing. That's awesome. I like that. So, Brad, how was your day today?
Busy, man. Just getting reviews done and working on rookie content and getting excited about the combine and then seeing that Greg Olsen goes to Seattle. So that was some fun news for the day. How
I
are you?
like it. I like it. Uh, I know a lot of people aren't very excited about it. They think he's washed up, but I mean, he stayed pretty healthy last year, and he is going to be playing with a pretty good quarterback. So I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, in a pinch for maybe 1 to 3 years, since that's what his contract is. It should be interesting. I mean, my concern is obviously quite often in the last few years there's been that injury problem. So, but between him and Disley, you should be able to get one full tight end season. So,
You would hope. Um, Seattle's had issues keeping their tight ends healthy here of late. So, man, I don't know why my video is doing that, but it just automatically cut it, and it makes me angry since I worked so hard to make this look good. Um, But for everybody that's listening and not watching, we are streaming live on our Facebook group and YouTube. You can always watch live when we go. We will be live every Tuesday at 9 p.m. from here on out for the remainder of the off season, minus, if anything comes up where we can't make it. But that is the plan as of now. As always, comment on YouTube or in the Facebook group on what you would like us to cover during the off season, and we will do our best to cover everything that is requested of us. And feel free, if you are watching, to chat with us in whatever chat you're in, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube. And as we're going, we will try to answer any questions there. This draft does start up here in 1 minute, so we will. It will go a little bit fast. We'll try to cover as much as we can on every player, but since we're actually doing a draft with 12 different individuals, it will be hard to keep up with every single pick. But we'll cover the main guys as much as possible, and when we get into the late second, third, fourth, fifth rounds, we will probably cover those guys a little bit less unless there's something that sticks out with those players for us. But as we get going in the off season and we learn more about these rookies, we'll be able to give you guys some better insight on all of them. But it is very early in the process. Um, Let me pull this draft room up and
yeah, it's definitely been fun evaluating these guys. I mean, there's definitely some interesting prospects, and it's fun to watch how the mocks have gone here recently with the RotoHeat community because it's been so all over the place. I
it
mean,
is definitely all over the place. Um, excuse me. So first off the board is DeAndre Swift, running back from Georgia. Um, what is your thought on DeAndre Swift? Do you like him as the 101, or are you leaning somebody else?
man, that's tough. I know running backs tend to be kind of the favorite at the 101, but if I'm just in a vacuum, I mean, he's probably the most talented player in the draft, so I can't argue it. But the guy who went at 102 is I'm just as big a fan of, so I'm okay either way. At 102 we see Jerry Jeudy, so back to back, top wide receiver, top running back. That's seems pretty straightforward to me. What do you think?
Swift's like my number four running back, so I definitely am not on board with him at the 101. I like the athleticism, but I just feel like he goes down too early, and I would like to be drafting a three down back with that number one spot. Um, but other than that, like I know that it's a very divisive class. There's a lot of people. Um, he said he's trying to take Dobbins, so we'll just go ahead and put Dobbins in for him. Um,
Yeah, Dobbins seems to be a guy that.
Dang it.
Oh, that's okay. Dobbins seems to be a guy people are pretty high on, especially in the
I
community.
gotta
People that are big.
undo. Sorry guys, refresh. See, this MFL does this. It doesn't put them back in the list unless you refresh. So Dobbins was for Braden. And then oh, that's who Crab took, so Crab has to go again.
Yep.
So second off was Jerry Jeudy, and you said you like him as your wide receiver one?
Oh yeah, I mean, after doing more evaluation on T Higgins, it's definitely close. Lamb and Jeudy, as I mean, I like all three of them, but I think Judy's probably the most polished and most NFL ready in my mind, and he runs the best routes, has probably right around the best hands, So it's hard for me not to like him as the top receiver in the class. But man, I like Higgins and I like Lamb a lot too. So it's still early for sure, but those are my three guys right there. What do you think about them?
Yeah, he's my wide receiver one as of now. I love that route running, and there's some people that are worried he is going to. I'm gonna go ahead and put Taylor in for Patrick because that's who he took the first time. So we'll put him back in there so we can keep that moving. But great route running like he's got can make up for a lot of deficiencies. I mean, we see guys. Cooper Kupp's not like a superior athlete to everybody else. Calvin Ridley isn't a superior athlete to everybody else, but that route running helps you get that separation. And then, if you have a decent quarterback that can hit you when you get open like that, you can have some monster seasons. So I don't see a reason why his upside isn't a wide receiver one. And I think at worst, if he's in the right offense that has enough targets for him, why he isn't like a low wide receiver two as a floor.
Absolutely. See, this is tough. We're right around the 107, 108, and this is where my pick is sitting. I like probably Higgins the most, but I could see a reason to draft Chenault or Ruggs here as well. I'm just going with the guy that I've recently kind of been enamored with at 107, taking Higgins. But you can make the case for any of those three wide receivers here, and I think it's a very valid case. What do you think about so many wide receivers kind of up here at the top? Jeudy, Lamb, Higgins, Ruggs, Chenault.
my wide receiver two, you didn't even name, and that's Jalen Reagor.
Oh, Rager, yeah, TCU.
So but the thing is, and I've been saying this, and he just went number 8, is that like the top 8 guys in this class are really interchangeable. Obviously, like Reagor, you're not going to be taking him in the top 4, but they're all so close together, and it's just right now it's just who's your flavor? Who do you like? I know a lot of guys have Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who just went at 109. I know they have him way up there at like number 3, number 4 overall. Here we go. I gotta look and see who I'm gonna take here with the number 9 pick. I love this when you're talking and not paying attention
I
to
know. That's what I was
all
doing.
coming off the board. I know I'm missing somebody that I like. And MFL's list is makes it real tough to find who you want right now if you're doing mock drafts early. I know I'm missing somebody. Swift Higgins. Yeah. Ruggs for me.
Oh, yep. There you go. There's the other two wide receivers I brought up. Ruggs and Chenault went 110 and 11, and that's kind of what we've been seeing is a lot of these wide receivers going in the.
Yeah, dude. This wide receiver class, man, there's a lot of guys that could end up being really good fantasy receivers.
Well, and think about, what people were talking about this time last year as we were talking about the 2019 class and people were dogging the 2020 class for not really having a lot of talent. I'm like, I don't see that. I mean, most of our mocks going into the mid to late second round, we're like, oh wow, that guy's still available. So, there's a lot of talent in this draft class to be had.
Steven.
Oh yeah, I don't see him on. I don't see him in the chat.
All right, guys. Who we taking next to if Steven isn't here? I'll go ahead and pause this timer. Oh, he did go.
Oh, there you go, Tyler. Well,
There we
that's a
go.
guy that we just reviewed too. I wonder if he watched our review and got excited about Tyler Johnson.
Yeah, somebody tough. Somebody tough for me to get on board with, but I can see what people would like.
I thought it was interesting that I think it might have been Joseph on our evaluator team, kind of comped him to like a Tyler Boyd. I was like, well, I guess that's interesting. I mean, if he's a pretty decent route runner. I was actually surprised in watching him. I mean, he didn't get a great grade for me, but I was pleasantly surprised by him.
It's so hard with like some of these other guys that are really good. When I watch a guy that like may have looked good like last year, but like you've watched Jerry Jeudy and CeeDee Lamb and Rager and Higgins and Chenault and Ruggs, and you're just like, well, sorry, bro, you're not very good.
Right. Yeah, I mean, compared to most of the first round receivers that we saw go, I mean, he's not, you know, tier one in my mind is something like Jeudy, Lamb, you know, and then tier two is almost all the rest of the first round receivers, and Tyler Johnson's not really even, close to that in my mind. But
Yeah, that's my thought is that they're so much further ahead of him. Um, but I could also be missing something. I'm
well, the
gonna have to
combine was
watch.
huge for him.
Well, and I don't let the oh dang. So Anthony McFarland, you're not gonna
My
have a
boy.
chance for the first time. For the first time in all of our mock drafts, you're not gonna be able to take Anthony McFarland. Johnny takes Tua at 202 ahead of Joe Burrow.
Tua is the first quarterback off the board in this one.
And actually, I think this is the first time that Joe Burrow didn't go in the first round
Yeah.
of our one QB drafts, which is I think is
Oh, you're
good.
up. Now you've got plenty to choose from.
Yep, I'm gonna go ahead with Vaughn here. I watched a little of his tape, and I kind of like him.
kind of like him.
I can't like say that I really like him because I haven't watched enough yet, but I liked what I saw, and I'm interested to dig in deeper. Um, Josh says I'm trying to watch the live feed and draft at the same time. There's
That's
a few
tough.
seconds in between.
Yeah.
I am glad that I am not the only one that thinks Duvernay is a borderline first round pick
Well, and
because
I think I comp him to like a light Steve Smith, dude. The dude's so tough, and he runs really good routes too. I'm a big fan of him too.
and if he gets in open space, that boy is gone.
Yeah, he's hard to catch. I mean,
I'm
he's
I'm
not Bugs fast, but he's fast.
and I was getting ready to say I want to see, and I can't wait to the combine for this is to see how him and Ruggs match up in speed.
Oh, geez. Zach Moss was kind of who I was targeting here. I guess I'll take Joe Burrow mid-second round. You can't
See,
beat taking the best quarterback.
I'm fine with him at 206. It's just I think he went 106 on a 1 QB yesterday, and that's a little early for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Devin Duvernay, man, I liked his tape a lot, but there's a receiver still on the board that I did like more than him.
It's interesting to me to see Brian Edwards. He seems to be creeping up in most of these mock drafts. Like second round seems really
There he is. Just
early.
went at 208.
Yeah, that seems a little early. But Justin Jefferson at 207, I like Justin Jefferson. I think he could be a kind of a sneaky type guy.
See, I don't think he'll end up being sneaky. I think with LSU, um, with
Gonna be
people
nice.
just watching Joe Burrow and seeing Justin Jefferson when you're watching Joe Burrow tape, I think that's gonna move Jefferson up the needle a little bit. Eno Benjamin at 209. Um, I definitely think that Eno is a uh, he didn't excite me, but at his value right now, I think I'm intrigued in the late second round.
Yeah, yeah, it's tough. I mean, after doing the evaluations on him, I really wasn't all that impressed. I mean, there were so many things where I was like, "Ooh, I don't like that," or "I don't like," And I mean, late second round though, taking a chance on a running back's not really terrible. I mean, if you're sitting at the 209, you're a playoff team, so you probably have a decent roster where you can take a chance and just say, "Nah, I like something about this guy." Um, I unfortunately think he's more Kalen Balaj than anything else.
No, dude, you can't use Kalen Balaj for any other human. Like Kalen Balaj is so bad, it's disrespectful to these guys. And right there at the 212 is the guy
Thanks, guy.
that I liked. Like I like him in the front half of the second round, Michael Pittman Jr. I really liked his tape. I think he does a lot of things really well. He doesn't do anything like elite, but he does everything above average, I think.
Yeah.
And I like how he can go up and get it. He seemed to be a good hands receiver, and I didn't notice a lot of glaring drops. So I think he's a guy that could be a difference maker at the next level. Not wide receiver one level, but wide receiver two upside. But he's definitely gonna. Um, I'm not gonna say he's definitely going to, but he definitely has the an opportunity to become a solid wide receiver two, wide receiver three.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised, and I tried to put my bias against the university aside because they never seem to produce good receivers. But
we
he
talk about this
we
every
talk about it
everyone.
every week. But no, he was definitely pleasantly surprising. I think the thing that's more interesting is the fact that the guy who went in front of him in most of our other drafts, our other mocks that we've been having, he's like late. He's like in the fourth and fifth round. But Isaiah Hodgins going at the 211 is really intriguing. Oh, where'd Steven go? I see him in there. He must be having trouble finding somebody.
Yeah. We try to make this go as fast as possible. This list is not conducive to drafting. I mean, it's alphabetical order, but you never know if you're going through the list, if you're gonna, find a guy that you like, but have people behind him and name wise,
Oh,
and end up drafting. I did it last night where I drafted somebody ahead of somebody that I would never have. Um,
hmm yeah, you don't. I mean, well, and especially with there he goes. Chase Claypool and then AJ Dillon at the 302. Interesting.
See, I'm glad I'm not the only one that likes Claypool either, because then I'm trying to put my bias. See, and then here we go. Um,
I'm about to say you're going to talk about and then miss your pick.
right.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I've started doing a little bit of valuation on them. I mean, I haven't done enough to say whether I
Where are
really
you
like it.
at? You're 4 picks behind me. I'm just gonna go ahead and ruin your
Don't you,
day.
Cole? Not you, rat. Hey, you know, everybody by now everybody knows my picks. This will be bad going into rookie drafts.
You're gonna be like, I have no idea who to pick because Anthony McFarland and Cole Kmet are gone. Like, what do I do?
Sitting at the 101. I got to take one of those two, right?
See, we were just having this discussion in the Facebook group too. Somebody asked about um, tight ends and what how do you approach the tight end position, and they're always in startups. They're the last position that I'm ever worried about. Like, I would rather get my tight ends cheap like this in a rookie draft, even if I have to wait a season where I'm kind of at at that position. I would rather get them cheap than pay the expensive price for a Kelsey or an Ertz or Kittle. Um, like all my Goddard shares that I have are about to just pay off big time because I got them, late first rounder instead of a startup third rounder or fourth rounder.
Right. Yeah, I mean, well, and
Okay,
oh, go ahead.
okay, never mind. You took them. I was just like, okay, never mind. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Brandon Cox over in our Facebook chat was talking about how Justin Jefferson keeps going a lot lower than he expected. He sees him sitting around the 112, 201 spot, but he fell down to the 207. So it's not terribly later, Brandon, than what you're thinking, but with such a deep wide receiver class, the guy's probably going to get lost unless he sets himself apart. He's going to kind of get lost in the shuffle. I mean, just like the guys who are going in the late second, early third. Like you said, Claypool, Antonio, Gandy, Golden, Donovan Peoples-Jones, guys that didn't really show out in college, but have some things about them that guys like, are probably going to fall.
I want to answer Preston's question over on YouTube. He asked, would you guys trade the 109 and the 201 for the 106? And I personally wouldn't unless you really like whoever's left on the board. Um, but I just think this class, the value that you get with the depth of this class, getting two players rather than that one, I don't think the difference between player to player is enough to make that to warrant that pick. Like your 106 and your 109, the difference isn't very big, and you're still getting a talented player at 201.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at this draft, you're getting two of the best running backs in the class, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Anthony McFarland, depending on who you talk to.
That's hilarious. No, I like Anthony McFarland a lot. I think he's
Yeah,
a great opportunity in the second round.
yeah. I mean, the tough thing for me is he just didn't get a ton of action in college, so people are going to knock him for that. They're just in
Yeah,
there.
but
He took to his senior year before he could really
it's
get
like
in the game.
it's like they can't win though because then you get a lot of action like Jonathan Taylor, and then people are like, oh well, he's like gonna die now. Like he's got 3 years of pro ball ahead of him. That's all I care about on my running back anyway.
Yeah, I can't argue. And the interesting thing is, if he takes care of himself, I mean, it doesn't. None of that matters. And the dude's a pretty healthy running back, Jonathan Taylor.
I
Like, it's not like he's
mean,
been beat up too much. Debatable.
that's funny. Um, yeah, I mean, minimum you get 3 years out of him. I mean, what more are you asking for out of running back? Okay,
Yeah,
you
I
can
don't
go.
knock it. I mean, 4 years is definitely solid.
I'm not any more concerned about him than I would be DJ Swift. And that for me
Oh,
puts them, 3 and 4 on my list. I go Dobbins, Akers, Taylor, Swift is where I'm at. Um,
I like
but
Cam Akers. He's
I want to make it very clear to everybody listening, watching, whatever. It's very early in this process. So what we see now could completely change by the time we actually start rookie drafts.
oh, for sure. So over on Facebook, Josh Crabb wants to know, in a tight end premium league, would you trade the 109 for Tyler Higbee and the 201?
Say that one more time.
So in tight end premium, would you trade the 109 for Tyler Higbee and 201? So basically
See,
moving back 4 spots.
I would. I was offered Higby for 205 today, and I don't think I'm going to do that in a tight end premium. I'm not a big Higby guy, but now you're moving back 4 spots, and if he does end up the guy, and Everett's not the guy, or they're not splitting, then you're going to win that big time in a tight end premium. Because you're not moving back very far. And just like we just said to, Preston over on YouTube, the gap there is just not big enough to worry about that. You're getting the extra player. I think that's a move you can make all day.
Yeah.
Now, and I will say though, you gotta like the guys that you think are gonna go in that first few picks in the second round. If you
Yeah.
do, then you're not gonna be upset with who drops there. Brad, who
Tough
you
thing.
taking here after Thaddeus Moss just went?
Oh, thank you for reminding me because I was going to keep talking.
That's why I did that. Just to run down where we're at in the end of the third round, we had Herbert, Lamical, Pirine, Brandon Ayuk, Hunter Bryant, DJ Dallas, Bryson Hopkins, Jake Fromm, Jalen Hurts, Jacob Eason, KJ Hill, Van Jefferson, and then Thaddeus Moss, and Brad at 407 is taking
Josh Kelly, running back.
Josh Kelly.
He's kind of a guy that I keep taking later, and he's kind of a guy that I'm interested in stashing. I think I have him maybe in a couple of different Devy leagues as a stash. I mean, unfortunately, he didn't really look amazing in college or anything special, but I like his intangibles, and at the fourth round, kind of mid fourth round, whatever.
Well, I was getting ready to say at 407, if you're getting somebody that looked amazing in college, then you should probably draft with those guys you're drafting with more often.
True story.
So Craig took Lynn Bowden, so Quintez Cephas, and then Lynn Bowden, and I think I'm going Darrington Evans or Gabriel Davis here. 410, which one do I want? Evans or Davis? I'll go Davis. I think Davis is like a moonshot. Oh, Johnny must have pre-picked or something. I was like, I did not take that guy.
I think he did.
I think he's got like a lot of upside, but he could be complete nothing at the same time.
Well, and a guy that we're working on reviewing right now, and I think he's actually one of the next videos up. He's still sitting out there, and I'm really impressed by him so far. I mean, I've watched probably about a half dozen of his games, snaps thus far, and for his size, that dude is powerful. Like, he's not afraid to go in between the tackles, and he's such a little dude. So I expect by the end.
I don't know who you're talking about.
J.J. Taylor from Arizona.
I was like, you went off on like complete tangent, and I was
I'm just looking at who's left out here. We're at the end of the fourth round, and Jordan Love just got drafted after Rodney Smith. But guys like J.J. Taylor. I mean, even this late in the process, you've got some guys out here. James Prochet, Jared Pinkney, J.J. Taylor, Nate Stanley. Still some guys on the board that have a little bit of upside. Albert Okui-Unum.
I was gonna say we seen I took Komet in the third, and then Bryson Hopkins went at 312, and we've still got Albert O-Face, and I think that any of those three guys at this moment could end up being the tight end one in this class.
Yeah, tight end is going to be one of those that you kind of have to pick the guy you kind of love. I mean, the problem with some of them, like Okui-Unum, is the fact that there's just some inconsistencies to his game, and it's like, are you getting the best of him? If so, then he's probably tight end one. If you're not, then probably Komet or Pinkney or whoever you like. My surprise here is at the 501. I think this is the first time we've seen this guy from Michigan drafted. Shea Patterson just got drafted at 501.
Oh,
he doesn't deserve.
Okay, Johnny went. Okay, so I guess Evans is still here, right? If I was gonna take him potentially with the last pick, then I have to take him here.
Colin Johnson just went before you, and then Darrington Evans just went here.
Steven says, sorry, fellas, I was at the end of hockey practice. Okay, so Everything Fantasy Football asked who our favorite tight end is, and I think both of us are on Cole Kmet bandwagon pre-combine, but I will confess that this could end up being one of at least three tight ends could end up separating themselves with Bryson Hopkins and Albert Oface. So I think it is definitely up in the air this early, but early on I am a Cole Kmet guy.
And there you go. There goes Albert Oface.
Joz Whedon, how you doing, bud? We haven't seen you since the season streams. Thanks for coming back. We will be streaming every Tuesday night. Um, he says this is the range of players I have no clue about. I will be open to everybody out there too. Early in the process, I don't have as much information on most of these guys as as I would like, but as this process goes on, we'll get more and more information. Jazz, have you been watching the videos we've been dropping here on YouTube? All the rookie evaluations? No face.
That's a good one.
Oh,
All
dang
right.
it.
So
I hit the wrong
Antonio
button.
Gibson went, then Albert Oface, then I took J.J. Taylor, then James Prochet went, then Reggie Corbin went. So
I
we're
think
starting to
Reggie
see
Corbin,
guys.
have we seen Reggie Corbin's name in any of these drafts
I
so
don't I
far?
don't think he's popped up either. I think him and Shea Patterson are new to the mocks here
Yeah, I think that's
recently.
the first time I've seen Corbin. This is our fourth mock draft. You guys can see the ADP for all the current drafts on RotoHeat.com. Just hit that ADP on the navigation bar, and there's a rookie section with one QB and SuperFlex. And for this pod, what we'll do right after this draft ends, I will copy all our draft data. I'll reset the draft, reorder, and we will get that going 15 minutes after, but we'll stay live. While I'm doing that, I'll have Brad like sing you guys a lullaby or something, and we will get that going as quickly as possible after we get it. So if you're in the draft, don't leave the draft room. Josh Crabb apparently already did. Um,
That monster. Courtney Davis just came up at the 509 spot. So you're seeing a lot of guys that, have something, some intangible that people like that they're going to take a chance on. So, Salvad Ahmad. This is the first time or Salvan Ahmad, sorry. It's the first time we've seen him go at the back half. And then Jawan Jennings at the 511. And Josh is going to close us out here at the 512.
Jason Jones said you guys are agreeing with a lot of things that I've been saying, and it makes me so happy. Devin Duvernay. I'll tell you what, I was just on Twitter and I felt like I was like the only one out on the Jalen Reagor bandwagon, and a couple people were saying the same thing on Twitter today, and it made me feel like I wasn't on a lonely island anymore. All right, let me go ahead and pull up this data, fix this stuff up real quick. It'll only take a second.
Yeah. And thank you guys for hanging out with us. I mean, it means a lot to on a Tuesday night for you guys to jump on there and talk with us and mock draft with us and definitely check out YouTube and let us know. Comment on the videos. Let us know who you want us to talk about. We have a pretty sizable list of guys that we're reviewing and making videos for. And we're going to do it for pre-combine, and then we're going to do it for post-combine and then post-draft as well. So make sure you're checking out the YouTube page, share it, tell everybody. We're really thankful that we just broke 500 subscribers and we've had over 50,000 hours watched. Or 50,000 views. I mean, it's really going well, and we couldn't do it without you guys. So you guys are making this thing go. So you guys rock. Rick's gonna spin this thing up, and we're gonna get going with the next draft. So it'll be pretty quick, and you'll get 2 mock drafts in one episode. So that's pretty cool. Over on Facebook, Brandon says Reagor is my third behind Higgins and Lamb. That's wild. I'm surprised that Jeudy isn't in there with you, Brandon. Yeah, next we're doing SuperFlex. So we'll do a SuperFlex mock here, Brandon, and then you'll get both. And then we'll push this information over to the website, over to RotoHeat.com. So we're moving along quickly. We know
They're
that you guys.
they're asking for that lullaby, Brad. So you got to sing them a little something.
La 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 la. La 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 la.
All right, that'll be enough.
All
um,
right.
okay, so it we're gonna go ahead and stop this draft. We're going to undo the last pick. Everybody that's in the draft, reload your page.
Look at who's sitting at the 101. As if I'm like the Cincinnati Bengals. Like, you know who you have to take.
All right, so we'll give that just a couple minutes. Make sure everybody gets refreshed. If you guys have any questions out there on YouTube or Facebook, drop them in the chat. Um, for some reason, it's not showing me names on a lot of these Facebook questions. It's not coming through on my chat. So I will
Well,
do
I'm
my
on
best to
Facebook.
answer them if Brad tells me who asked them.
Yep.
um, Preston, damn, I'm dying. Um, Preston over on YouTube says my commish likes to do our rookie draft 1 week before the NFL season, and I can't stand it. Yeah, okay. So for anybody that doesn't is not familiar with RotoHeat, new to the stream or the Facebook group, um, I run like 8 leagues. We have a couple 96 team leagues with 8 different divisions in them, and we pay out over $20,000 every year in winnings. But I do every one of my drafts. They either start the Sunday after the draft or Monday after the draft. So you have time to study all these players, but once the NFL draft happens, you got to be quick to make your decisions on whether you like landing spots. I'm somebody that thinks landing spots are severely overrated, so it doesn't bother me any, but some people get a little upset that it's so fast after. But I'm ready to draft now. It's obviously not enough information, but drafting is my favorite thing to do in fantasy football. That's why I start new leagues every year and kill myself.
Well, and that's, I've tried to, so I'm in quite a few different leagues, and I like that I've kind of spaced the different leagues. Like the leagues that I commish, I try to put a little later so that I get to be drafting basically from the end of the NFL draft all the way up until, like the beginning, middle of July. So like every week I've got a slow draft going of some sort. So because that is also my favorite part. So Kyle over on Facebook says Vegas has Detroit with the highest odds to take Tua. What do we make of Stafford if this happens? All right, so if you listen, so I've been, I'm a Detroit guy. I'm from Detroit area. The talk out of there is that's just smoke because they're trying to get people to pay up for the number 3 pick. I think what happens if they take Tua is it's very much like you saw with Kansas City or any of these other teams. You have a veteran quarterback and then you have a rookie that's in waiting. And because remember, Tua's coming back from a pretty severe hip injury. The guy may not even be ready to play for half of the first season or more. And right now, Stafford's cap number is insanely high. Like, there's no way Detroit trades him unless they're like crazy. But what about you, Rick? What do you make of it?
I don't know, not being a Lions fan. I think that Stafford's always been a little underrated and hasn't been helped out very much by his organization. Obviously, Megatron not being happy with the situation and retiring early doesn't help. I think Tua and Burrow, I think the separation is very minimal between the two. We were just talking about it today. I think if Tua wouldn't have had that injury, we would be wondering is it Burrow or Tua going 101 in SuperFlex and in real life NFL drafts. So I think that there's a really good possibility that Tua, whoever gets him, ends up getting a steal because this is a guy that's a 101. He was a 101 all the way up until he got hurt. Um, and I think that somebody could get a steal because everybody's saying that this injury, he's coming back from it and it's working good. All right, Brad, are you ready to get this Superflex draft going?
I'm ready. You
All
start it
right,
up. I'll hit draft.
draft is started. Brad, you taking Burrow?
The obvious. Oh, look at that. Burrow and Tua, 101 and 102.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't think there's a lot more to say about these two guys. I think they're the best two quarterbacks in this draft. I think Herbert is a decent amount behind them too. Obviously, Tua, it's just is he gonna be healthy? Is he going to stay healthy? Because he has had some injury concerns, and that's the only knock on him, I think.
Yeah.
I know some of you guys seen that doesn't do well on the run and everything. Somebody else said that he doesn't throw deep very often, but I mean, you don't have to throw deep. Tom Brady hasn't been throwing deep for years and has had success in fantasy success. So
Well, and Tua, like when he has time in the pocket and he has a clean pocket, that dude's got a cannon. Like he can make deep throws, he can make them all. I mean, one of the things that I saw was just the fact that on the run, there way too often was he sailing passes or hitting the dirt, but he didn't do that a ton. Like he didn't have to leave the pocket because the offensive line was just stellar. So, I love Tua. I love Burrow. I love Herbert. I mean, all three of these quarterbacks I think have nice futures ahead of
and
them.
and Herbert just went number 3.
Mm.
That is the first time, and this is the like I said, the fourth SuperFlex draft we've done, and this is the first time that the three QBs went 1, 2, 3 in any of them. So that's a little bit different. And then boom, Jonathan Taylor goes number 4 as the first running back off the board, and then J.K. Dobbins number 5.
Wow.
So I mean, I'm telling you, man, it don't matter. Like you take the 8 people I was talking about at the top of the draft in one QB, you add in those 3 QBs, you've got 11 guys, 12 guys, if you count Fromm, and they could go all over the place in drafts, and maybe that'll fix up with the combine and the NFL draft. But right now, it is so all over the place, and I don't care where you look. I don't care if you're in our Facebook community. I don't care if you're over on Twitter. Like everybody is torn on these guys. It's crazy. Oh, it's me. And
Yep. We're starting to get some questions here. So Braden Adams over in our Facebook community wants to know who has the most to lose with a poor combine showing.
I would say DeAndre Swift because I think a lot of people have him as the number 1 running back in the class. I think that a lot of people have him in Dynasty as the number 1 running back, and I just there's something that I can't entirely peg. I think he went down too early on tape, but there's just something that I'm leery about when it comes to DeAndre Swift, and if that gets exposed this week, then I think he could. There's so many good running backs too that he could. I mean, your drop is far. If you drop from the top of your position, I mean, outside of tight end, where it's not deep at all, and there's nobody that sticks out. But when you're talking about receiver, running back, if you drop from the top to the bottom, like there's a long fall because there's a lot of guys.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then Bryson Kramer over in the Facebook community says, I have 4 picks in the 110 to 210 range. Are there certain positions that you guys target or tend to end up selecting in this range when it gets past the studs and gets to the middle tier guys? Or do you just go best player available?
I am personally always BPA. I have my list, and then when it gets close, I will revert to position of need. Like if I have 2 guys that are like just they're eye to eye, then I'll go on what position I need. But other than that, like I don't look at my needs at all. I like drafting early. I know. I think it was Preston over on YouTube said that he likes June for rookie drafts. I like drafting right there in April, beginning of May, and then getting my rookies on board so I can start building my roster because most of the free agents have signed. Now you've got the rookies and you know the landing spots and you can start building from there. Um, damn it, Anthony, he did that on purpose. Um, that would have made it real easy for me to get my guy. But now I got to go through here slow.
Yeah, it's and keep up the question, guys. If you guys have any questions or anything that you're thinking about, uh, we've got Paul over in the Facebook community says BPA as well. You're getting some agreeing on just taking best player available, and then Rick just took my best player available, Anthony McFarland. Look at that. I mean, that's surprising to me. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, a
See,
guy who's been going in the
and
late
this,
first.
and I will say, this is a spot where I didn't expect him to be there, so I wasn't looking for him. And with this list the way it is,
You might
I
have taken
just
him.
I just missed him. I would have taken Edwards Hilaire there at
Hmm.
the 205 ahead of McFarland, but I that's just one where I completely missed it. So hopefully before the drafts get here, this list will be a little bit different, so
Yeah.
you don't have those misses.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But
Hey,
especially
look,
like
and
talking and answering questions and doing that at the same time, I did that last night where the guy that I would have taken went one later, and I'm like, what the hell?
Uh, well, and you're seeing that MFL's ADP is slowly going to fix itself as time goes on. I mean, the nice thing is we're mocking early, but also the tough thing is mocking early means there's nothing in MFL for ADP.
Right.
So after that, Jacob Eason went, who is the sneak in Superflex drafts. That's probably about a good spot for him, is kind of mid to late second round because he has some upside, and they're starting to get a little buzz about him.
Um, Jazz over on YouTube says, "Is there any hope for OJ Howard in Tampa? And what do I do with him and Le'Veon Bell this season?" Well, I think you got to hold Bell. I don't think you can move him right now. I know ESPN came out and said that it's unlikely that he's going to get traded, but I think his value's at a spot right now where you're not going to get what you should. Um, but OJ Howard is a tricky one. He's a tricky one. I don't know what to do with OJ Howard.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you have to hold to see what happens with him. But I mean, eh, yeah, it's tough with him because he has the potential, but unfortunately, it just hasn't happened there in Tampa. All right, so KJ Hamler just went at the 211, and before that, Tyler Johnson and Devin Duvernay went, and now we're sitting with the last pick of the second round. And I think I got to go with your boy Michael Pittman here.
Yeah, that's who I was going to take before, but I didn't realize that McFarland and Edwards Hilaire were both still there. Is it crazy that I don't even know the names on Facebook, but I'm pretty sure I can tell who asked this question because it started with "Can we agree?" It just seems
You know who it
like a
is.
Paul Veldboom
It is a
question.
Paul Feldman question.
Oh,
Paul
and then he
says,
followed it up. Hold or buy, right? That's Paul again. Arians
"Oh
is
yeah,
effing him over.
yeah,
Yeah, the guy also blocks too well. Like I wish he was a bad blocker because he'd be if he was just running routes, it'd be awesome.
right.
Oh, I'm on deck. I better pay attention
Yeah."
here.
So after my Pittman pick at the 212, at 301 we see DJ Dallas, Chase Claypool, then Cole Kmet, and then a guy that in Superflex drafts will not be in the third round if he goes into the first round of NFL drafts, and that's Jordan Love. If the guy winds up being a first round NFL pick, he's going to be probably a first round
Yeah, he will be.
next pick.
If he goes there, he'll be a first round pick. He should probably be a second round pick in Superflex drafts right now anyway.
Right.
Keyshawn Vaughn, 305.
That's a guy that could sneak up. I mean,
This dude
probably
was
not.
going in the first round yesterday.
Did he really?
I think he went
Wow.
112 in one and like 203 in another. 305. Keyshawn Vaughn.
He must he
That
must be up and down. People either love him or hate him.
and I think part of it's also that this whole thing, like he could have easily been missed. Like pretty sure that Edwards Hilaire, I think multiple people missed him, and that's why he was at 206.
Could be. Still in the process, so this will this will get.
He's been in the first round in every other draft we've done. Like he drops to the mid second all of a sudden. People missed him.
Anthony says,
Thank you, Rob. Josh says Arians needs to use the man. OJ should be a mismatch every down. The problem is he's also a mismatch when he's blocking. He's so good, and it hurts tight ends when they're that good. I mean, you've seen the same thing. You're a Detroit fan.
Yep.
Hawkinson killed it week 1, and then their line was bad, and he had to block for most of the rest of the season.
Yep.
Okay, Crab, don't do this to us. We're almost done. Okay, he did it. He went.
Crab pulled out the Eno.
The Eno Benjamin. See, like, I don't know how Keyshawn Vaughn, just a little I've watched, and Eno Benjamin are within 2 picks of each other. Like, that should be illegal. I love this, man. I'm not used to be podcasting, and I'm losing my voice real early in this. So we normally go for freaking 2 hours. Who would have thought that the way to get us done quicker would be to do 2 rookie mock drafts, 10 rounds of rookie mock drafts, and we'll get done sooner than we do just a regular podcast.
Don't say that. You're gonna jinx us. I've got rookie content to record tonight, so don't jinx us. I still got plenty to do.
I'm not jinxing you. I've got plenty to do as well. Just to let everybody know, our rankings, we are redoing our rankings. We've got new people on board for our rankings. So we will be getting all of our rankings out. Rookie ADP is already on the site for 1QB and SuperFlex. We've got Startup 1QB and SuperFlex coming. We've got IDP Rookie and IDP Startup coming. We've got Devi on board, and I feel like I'm missing something else. Redraft Startup coming up. So RotoHeat.com, make sure you check it out. Our rookie database is at RotoHeat.com/rookies. Any questions you guys got, make sure you get them in the chat here. Brad is going in, picking Denzel Mims at 312, and Donovan Peoples-Jones. This dude is like the Deion Kane of the 2020 draft, a guy that's had hype forever but never panned out anywhere.
I also blame Michigan for ruining him and Tariq Black with poor quarterback play.
And that could be it, but it's just...
It's both. I mean, it's a little bit of both.
Remember how hyped Deion Kane was coming into the NCAA, and then people thought, because, oh, well, now he's going pro, and he's going to Indianapolis, and Andrew Luck's there, and this and that, and he's finally going to put it together. And doesn't he play for Pittsburgh now? Didn't he get released?
Yeah. He well, I think he was on Indy's. He was either on Indy's taxi squad or something, but yeah, he's in Pittsburgh now. Jason over in our Facebook community wants to know when we'll be announcing some new startup leagues.
You guys hate me. And everything fantasy football said he thinks DPJ is very underrated. I could definitely be wrong on him. I don't have when those guys are that hyped up and then they don't pan out in college, I'm always a little bit worried. A lot of times that is it isn't skill or physical ability, it's mental, because they when you're 17, 18 and have all that hype, not everybody deals with it the same way. But he's definitely a freak athlete. He could definitely end up being a steal in this range. I'm just not on board as of yet. But I could be convinced. Somebody could change my mind.
Back to the Jason question about startup leagues.
I don't know well, dude, I'm not answering that. I'm the one that gets paid with all the work that it takes to get those going. I've already started up a $250 buy-in that we filled. I have plans for a couple other ones, but I have no idea when I'm going to do it or what I'm going to do at this time.
All right, Jason, you got to keep it locked in. You got to keep following because it's coming.
I don't know who I want to take here.
So before that, so after my DPJ, we got Bryson Hopkins, who arguably tight end one in the conversation. Then Gabriel Davis, Thaddeus Moss, Colin Johnson, Van Jefferson, AJ Dillon, and you just took Steven Montez at the 408.
Don't love it. Don't hate it.
In the fourth round, I mean, take
I'm
shots.
taking shots. There might be some. There might be another quarterback in here that I would have rather had, but
And that's a tough thing,
I
Some of
didn't.
these quarterbacks are.
No, I think Montez out of the guys left are probably the guy that I like the most. Tyler Huntley, I guess maybe. I'm gonna have to watch these guys more. I've paid more attention to the top end guys, probably top five guys in the class. Other than that, I need to
I wish
pay
Kelly
more
Bryant
attention.
wasn't terrible. He's a guy I would have loved to, but I just can't get behind him.
What else we
Ooh,
got, guys?
Isaiah Hodgins. Did we miss him?
Everything fantasy. No, I just don't like him. I mean,
Well,
there's a
not
couple
normally going.
things that I like, but not overall. Everything fantasy football. I'll make sure to give you a subscribe after we get done here. I just Hodgins. I don't know, man. There's something about him that when I watched his tape, it like irked me. Like it almost made me angry. Like you ever watch a guy and you're just like this makes me mad. Like
Yep.
when you look like you should just dominate the person across from you, but you don't.
Look like Tarzan, play
Like
like
it
Dan.
just it angers me. It's like it's like watching Kalen Balaj, who looks like Steven Jackson, and then it's like he hits a feather and it's like a brick wall. It's just it makes zero sense to me. And when I see Hodgins, that's what I see, like a guy that should dominate the corners he's playing against, but he doesn't.
Let's know if we've watched any Mason Fine tape.
No, I have not watched him at all, Paul. I need to watch him. I did watch a little bit of Davis, and I'm getting caught up um, on Vaughn right now, but I haven't watched enough of either to make a final assessment yet.
Yeah, I back in January when we started firing up the rookie content. I think I've watched all of about 2 games of him, but I haven't watched.
Oh, damn, it's on me, man.
Oh yeah.
Why didn't you tell me?
Oh, and look at that. The Gardner Minshew of this draft went at 504. Anthony Gordon. Antonio Gibson went before him at the 503. Then Albert Okui at 502. Juwan Jennings at the 501. We got some interesting names coming off the board. Oh, and then Rick took the what is it? Mighty Hamster 2.0, or what do they call Doug Martin? The Muscle Hamster.
Yeah.
AJ Taylor, running back Arizona, then Rodney Smith. That's a guy that keeps coming off the board late. Like people must like something about him that I just don't see.
Jaz, what Freeman are you talking about? Royce Freeman or Devonta Freeman? Because neither of them would be in like the top six of these running backs in this class, I don't think.
Well, and Devonta Freeman sounds like he's getting released potentially here in the next few weeks.
Yeah, he'll get us. I mean, he'll be on a team, but I don't think he's going to be a starting running back.
And Royce Freeman hasn't been able to wrestle away the starting job from Philip Lindsay. So we've seen Rodney Smith, Darrington Evans, and then.
Oh, he did say I missed it.
What do you say?
He said, "Guy in my Dynasty IDP league just dropped Royce Freeman while promoting Balaj from IR, also holding 4 safeties." For one, if you drop anybody for Balaj,
you should retire.
Yes, just quit. Um, okay, so I don't know if you guys aren't familiar in the group. I don't think I released all the information in any article or anything, but I went through every like running back that had 70 or more carries, and I mapped out how many runs they had of less than 0 yards, so any loss 1 to 4 yards, 5 to 10, mapped it all out, and literally Kalen Balaj ranked at the bottom of every running category possible. 11 out of 12 he was awful in. The only one that he was better, that he was average in, was 50-yard runs over the last 2 years, and that's because he had a 75-yard run and still averaged like 1.3 yards per carry. The guy is one of the worst players in NFL history, just point blank. He's bad.
Yeah, he definitely he definitely is awful.
Yeah, that graphic was absolutely awesome.
So it must have been your well,
Oh, were you talking about the running back graphic? Yeah. I'm trying to find a way to put it into an article to make use of all of it and have it make sense when I put it out. So I will be putting that out because it took a lot of work to put together, but I just don't know the best way to deliver it, I guess. Um, Draft is over.
it's wrapped up. That's it.
Wrapped up. So, just to do a little a recap here, this is the SuperFlex rookie draft. Joe Burrow, Tua, Herbert, Taylor, Dobbins, Swift, Jeudy, Akers, Lamb, Higgins, Fromm, and Ruggs round out the first round. The second round goes Hurts, Moss, Chenault, Rager, McFarland, Edwards-Helaire, who I think was missed by multiple people, at 206. Eason, Jefferson, Johnson, Duvernay, Hamler, and Pittman Jr., the top 2 rounds. This is going to change a lot. I have a feeling this is going to change a lot. Next week, what we're doing is we're trying to get our 5 mock drafts in here before the combine. And then next week after the combine, do another 5 real quick and see how different they are just based on combine immediately before, immediately after, and see what kind of differences we have. Um, if people are overvaluing those or whatever. Crayon drawings. I don't know what they're talking about.
Oh, how you can distribute your graphic crayon drawing.
Oh, uh, I don't know if very many people know this about me, but I was a traditional painter. That's how I got into where
Fantasy football.
I'm at now in graphic design. Um, that's how I got into it because I was like right on the brink of when digital art was coming into play in 2003 when I graduated high school. I was supposed to go to art school, Chicago Academy of Art. I had been accepted there and decided not to and went into graphic design instead. So I don't know if a lot of people know that about me or not.
He's an artiste.
I've had artwork all over the United States, but I haven't done it in a long time. I haven't picked up a paintbrush in a long time.
I hear it's
Um,
very relaxing.
you know what? It wasn't for me because it's like anything else. Well, it's like anything else that's serious. Like if it's your job, like fantasy football used to be relaxing. It's not anymore. Now I spend too much time on it, and people want something. People want me to start new leagues, and I have, I you know, I can't even tell you the amount of messages I get between GroupMe, Discord, Facebook, email, Twitter. I don't get very many on Twitter because I'm not very active on Twitter, but I mean it's not as fun as it used to be anymore. You know what I mean? Same
Right.
thing. When I first started playing poker, it was real fun. When I'm a professional poker player, it was not very fun. So you can have the fun taken out of it. By the way, you can count me in for tomorrow, out of work and home by 8 Eastern. I don't know who that is. Is that
All.
Paul?
Yeah.
As a former Sally Mae loan collector, you made a good choice to not go to art school. It didn't matter because the college I ended up going to is not even doesn't even exist anymore.
But
And
ITT.
yes, and
Me too.
my college education was the biggest waste of $45,000 ever. I could have done everything I do now. I mean, I own a marketing agency. I do a ton of different stuff, and I taught myself everything. Like it has nothing to do with the schooling that I did. So, um, everything fantasy football, and this is going to have to be answered by like Paul in the chat and Brad because I'm not big on IDP yet. I am working on that this off season, but he says, "How do you feel about Zach Baum for IDP?"
Man, I I'm working on my rankings for the site right now, and I have them as like the third or fourth defensive end off the board. I like his potential, but this is such a deep class for defensive ends and like that kind of edge guy. If he's like an off-ball linebacker, I think that's better for him at the NFL level. I think he'd be a better IDP asset if he played linebacker instead of defensive end. But Paul, if you're still in the chat, what do you think about Zach Bond? Let's hear it.
He's too busy talking about using restrooms all over the United States.
That's Patrick Davis.
Oh, that's Patrick Davis. Well, I just assumed that was Paul.
Oh, so Paul's got him as a late first, early second rounder. For me, that I'm more like he's kind of mid second round grade wise in fantasy drafts, just because there's so many talented IDP guys in this draft. This is a draft. If you like IDP, this is a good draft for you. Linebackers that I like a lot. He says he's always concerned when edge is a linebacker. If he's a defensive end, that obviously helps.
So you guys are the complete opposite.
We are.
So everything fantasy football, we need you to break the tie. Brad says that he hopes he's a linebacker. Paul says he hopes he's a defensive end. So you got to tell us and break the tie. And then I'm going to sit here and make fun of either Brad or Paul for being wrong. So choose wisely.
Make fun of Paul anyway.
Yeah, I mean, that's neither here nor there. But,
Paul's going to go pull his actual notes.
It might be your fault. I mean, it might be your turn, though, to get made fun of.
Yeah, I get that enough.
It's all good. So do I. My last name's Butts. It's right there on the screen, man. I've been getting it. Man,
my oldest loves when you message me. She's like, Dad, Ricky Butts messaging me. I'm like, oh, shut up.
Yeah, I've heard it since I was 5. So it is what it is. I've been called Seymour, even though it's not my name.
Oh, that's dumb. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it does. When people are making fun of me, they'll call you whatever they want.
Oh, that's dumb.
Just imagine, like, the first time, because I played basketball, football, baseball growing up, and the first time I played basketball was the first time where they like announced yet an announcer.
Players' names.
And like when they're doing the starting lineup, and I'm just like, I don't even want to play anymore. just let me be, because no matter what, you always hear the snickers and everything else when it gets announced. So I was always like, man, can I just quit right now? I just want to be done playing fantasy or playing basketball right now.
Change my name, Dad. Change my name. So Paul says he wrote down he has good moves and quality hand usage. He thinks he's a defensive lineman, but for real life, he's probably an outside linebacker. So I think Paul is kind of quietly agreeing with me that off-ball linebacker.
So everything fantasy football didn't answer. I was really hoping.
Well, that's why he asked us. He probably, he's like, I'm asking y'all.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna have to check and see if he has his own channel on YouTube. Everything fantasy football sounds like a fantasy football channel.
Be cool. We like it. We like helping people.
A1 says, "How do we avoid bust?" You don't. I mean, you can study and do everything that you want, but there's just no way to completely avoid it.
Mm-hmm.
Just no way.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, no matter how hard you work, I mean, you listen to no matter who these people are, whether it's Paul, you, me, I mean, we all make plenty of misses just as much as we hit plenty. I mean, like I mentioned earlier in one of the chats, I don't know, it was Discord or whatever, how much I love Mike Williams, but he's not done much.
Yeah, well, I was a Corey Davis 101 guy in that draft, and he hasn't done anything. I've for those that are new here, like I'm never gonna tell you like I'm passionate about the guys that I like, but I'm just as likely to be wrong as anybody else because it's just none of us know as much as we'd like to think we know. And as soon as you think you know enough about somebody, then they just disappear.
For sure.
I mean, Corey Davis, I can't drop him. I mean,
I've still got him in a few leagues. So I'm like, he's going to turn it
there,
around. He's only 24, 25.
well, I mean, there's just nobody unless you're playing in a league that's not very deep. There's just nobody on the waiver wires that I trust any more than I trust him.
I, yeah, you always hope that eventually he gets it together, but
I mean, it's kind of like a birthday. Like you have like 10, 35th birthdays. It's like how many times can you say Corey Davis is in a third-year breakout? I'm
he's
just gonna
living
keep
there.
keep saying it until something happens. Um, okay, guys, if you have any more questions, make sure you drop them in there. Got about 17 or about 7 minutes, and we'll call this a night. We've already lost like half of our viewers from just a few minutes ago. We were already like 40 down from peak time. We were at 50 viewers at one point, which is pretty good for um, a
We'll
stream
take it.
here. So,
Take it. We love people.
uh, so yeah, if you guys that are remaining have any questions, drop them in the chat. We'll get to them. Let us know what do you want us to cover next week in the weeks to come.
Yep. I think, I definitely think over the next few weeks it'll be a lot of combine talk, but we always want to know what the people want.
While Brad doesn't pay any attention to you and reads a book.
I'm getting everything together so I can get these rookie videos going after this.
Um, Paul says I'm just waiting on Washington to pick Chase Young and list him as a linebacker because they have Sweat and Kerrigan. Just to dick fantasy owners. No other reason. It honestly feels like a kick in the balls.
Well, but it's no with it being Ron Rivera, they're going to go back to a more traditional 4-3 defense. I mean, I can't imagine that they would really pick Chase Young and stand him up.
A1 says love the video breakdowns.
Thanks, everyone.
That's Brad's beautiful voice, and for those that don't know, we actually have 8 guys that are rating the players. So it's not just it's well, I'm not even on there anymore because I'm editing them all and don't have time to get the tape in time. But Brad and 7 other people go through, rate on all those traits, and then we compile that data. So the team's working hard to get those out. I think Tua's next, right?
Tagovailoa.
I think Tua. I know Hilaire Edwards is up here soon. J.J. Taylor, you said,
J.J. Taylor's
is
coming.
soon.
Yep.
So we've got a bunch more guys, and then we are going to start dropping combine videos after the combine gets over as well.
Buddy.
So we'll just keep going with everybody, and maybe for the guys that we don't get done before the combine, we'll just add the combine information into their college evaluation video, do parts 1 and 2 together for those guys to make it a little bit quicker. But we definitely have some more stuff coming up here. And we want everybody to know, like, let us know what type of videos you want us to do. Like today, Greg Olsen signs with Seattle. Would you guys like, how does signing with Seattle affect Greg Olsen's dynasty value or fantasy value? Or just let us know what you guys are looking for. We've got the team. We've got 8 more guys that are sitting around that could start putting information together for videos.
Probably need to get Leone doing that video.
maybe Craig.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, we got. Oh, Brad's like, I can't do anymore. I can't handle anymore.
Well,
Don't give me
I
any
was just trying to
more.
think. I was thinking about the chat where Anthony was talking to Discord earlier about about it. And he's kind of one of our video guys.
Well, yeah, but he can only do like one video a week. He said so.
Oh,
Is Disley done? I don't think Disley's done, and I don't think this. I don't think it says anything about Disley that they signed him. I just think that you've got a veteran tight end that was pretty healthy last year, even though he's had some issues over the last couple of years. It's a 1-year deal, and if it
3 years,
works out for
wasn't it?
Seattle, then it's great. Do
Isn't
what?
it 3 years?
I seen 1 year, 7 million, unless it
Oh,
changed.
did you? Oh, I thought I saw somewhere where it was 3 years.
See, I think that Disley, now you could get him real cheap, and if if Olsen goes down, you've got that backup tight end. Because I like getting my tight ends cheap. I do wish I had some more Olsen shares for free that he was a day ago.
Yeah, no, right?
Yeah, it's a 1-year deal
No,
for Olsen.
no.
1 year, 7 million. And I don't know how much of that's guaranteed or what. I mean, there might be something in there where if he doesn't even make the team, it doesn't cost them a whole lot. I don't know. I know that I seen Ebron commented on like something about Trubisky, and now people are connecting him to Chicago Bears, and it just makes sense since I've talked so much shit about him that the Bears would end up signing him, and I would just
Make you mad even more.
I probably, if that happens, I probably just have to buy an Ebron jersey
You.
just out of principle.
He played for my team for years, and I never bought his jersey.
Yeah, but this is different. Like, I've talked shit for every year that he's been in the league, and then he's going to become a Bear, and I have to turn my allegiance and give him my support because now he's my tight end and not
That's my quarterback.
Detroit's tight end or Colts' tight end. Okay, so we don't have a bunch of questions. We got 1 minute. Then we're going to call this a day, an hour and 15 minutes. Holy crap.
Hour and a half shorter than normal.
Yeah, no joke. Odds on Amari Cooper not being in Dallas, I think that this one depends on. I think Cooper depends on what happens with Dak or whatever they do at quarterback. Like, they've only got so much money they can spend. So, what's your take on Benny LeMay? I don't know who Benny LeMay is. Is somebody being a
I'll
smartass?
tell you that one.
And Google Benny LeMay. Is this IDP?
I don't know.
Charlotte 49ers running back Benny LeMay. Who are the Charlotte 49ers?
I'm like,
All right, fantasy football, everything is trying to trip us up here.
he did a good job.
Yeah, he did, because I don't know who Benny LeMay is, but he plays for. Is that?
Must be a college team.
Is it? I'm on their website right now. I think it's like a semi-pro or something. No, they played Clemson, so it is college.
Let's say I assumed he was talking Devy was my first thought, but they're Division One.
I'm gonna have to look into them because I don't have an answer for you. I didn't even know the name.
We'll have to get Sean and Jason on them, our Devy guys.
Oh, he is. He's right here on our list too. I have not looked at him yet. Now I feel like an idiot. Thanks. He was digging deep the whole time. He's like, who can I pick where it's a 98% chance these guys have never looked at him?
I like it. I think that's quality.
So do I.
Means
I'm
our
definitely
people are
going to have to
working
look. All right. I think that is going to be the end. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that like and subscribe. We appreciate you supporting over there on YouTube. We've got a lot of videos that are re-dropping. Like I said, uh, make sure you know, like, comment on the videos. Let us know what you want to see. We do our best to give our community what they want and not what we think they want. So you guys just got to let us know. Over on Facebook, we appreciate everybody in our Facebook community. We've got like 1,300 people in there. Um, and make sure you check out RotoHeat.com. Brad, you got anything to add?
Paul has a take on Benny LeMay.
Yeah, UDFA, right?
Yeah, he says UDFA, which means he's not a target.
Uh,
No, I don't
which
have
is
any.
funny because we saw two featured backs in the Super Bowl that were UDFAs, and Paul says they're terrible, but they look pretty good when they play.
I'd say if you work hard enough and you have just a little bit of skill, you turn into something.
Absolutely. What were you finishing up with?
No, I was just saying, I just appreciate everyone hanging out with us on a Tuesday night in February pre-combine. Make sure you stick with us. We're going to keep pumping out content all the time. I mean, our writers are pumping out content daily. The Facebook community's got tons of conversations going on, so make sure you become a part of it.
Absolutely. Go to rotoheat.com/dynasty, and that's going to take you right over to Facebook to join our community over there. And we will talk to you next Tuesday on the stream, but we will have videos dropping daily between now and then.